From the 700 WLW Newsroom, here's Brian Combs.
Big stories we're talking about in the big one today, gearing up for NASCAR. This is the week that the Tri-State finally is going to host a Sprint Cup race. It's something they've been dreaming about for more than a decade at the Kentucky Speedway. It becomes a reality this weekend. Saturday night is the Quaker State 400. Today, you may see a bunch of the car haulers coming into town. There'll be 5 of them downtown at 5th and Race today over the lunch hour as they continue to promote the big race, which will attract the biggest crowd for a sporting event in the history of the Tri-State. 700 WLW's Bill Reinhardt is going to be downtown today as the car haulers come in and the race is promoted. He'll have video and pictures later this afternoon here at 700WLW.com. Man's pleading guilty today to a murder that happened 10 years ago in the Tri-State. Daniel Painter is apparently in failing health and finally ready to admit that he murdered his wife in 2002. At the time, police say he was the chief suspect in her disappearance. He was buried at Woodland Mound Park, dug up, and then taken to another spot further south in Kentucky. Painter today in court to plead guilty to the murder. He is expected to be sentenced to life, though, as I say, he is in failing health, probably won't live much longer anyway. For the family of Lori Painter, his wife, they say it's justice finally served. Painter apparently was a jealous husband. Just days before she disappeared, he was arrested for domestic violence. Woman's facing charges now in connection with a murder and robbery in Over the Rhine. Yolanda Howard will appear in court today to be arraigned on the murder charges in connection with the shooting death of Emmanuel Scott on West Elder Street. Scott was shot in the head as part of that robbery. Shootings so far this year in Over the Rhine are up 175%. Butler County is preparing to standardize the way that they issue warnings for tornadoes. When the sirens sound, from now on they will sound across the entire county. No longer will individual communities go off on their own, except for one, Westchester, the only township refusing to sign on to this policy. The sheriff says it's a good idea to warn people, especially those who might be traveling from one part of the county into another when the bad weather or storms threaten. This new policy will take effect immediately. 700 WLW Reds update. The Reds are now back below 500 and 4 games behind the St. Louis Cardinals after another loss last night in St. Louis. Cardinals this time thumping the Reds 8-1. Red second baseman Brandon Phillips says they're just playing terrible right now. Need to turn things around pretty quickly. The final game of the St. Louis series is tonight. The Reds try to avoid the sweep. Airtime on 700 WLW with the inside pitch is 7:10. Smog alert today in the Tri-State. People with respiratory problems being advised not to spend too much time outdoors today. It's unhealthy air. They're also asking that people conserve electricity and reduce driving to cut down on the smog problem.